Hi all, and welcome back to the channel again. Hope you're all doing okay. Now this today is a completely different video to what I had lined up and was working on. But the sprint races have been confirmed. There's big plans for Liberty Media, which I'll get into, and I'll give my thoughts on both of these at the end because it probably is going to be a bit of a rant, but that's how it goes. But anyway, let's start off with the sprint weekend format that's now finally been confirmed. So, the sprint weekend format, on the Friday we're going to see free practice, which is 60 minutes. Then we're going to have the qualifying, which is another 60 minutes, but that sets the grid for Sunday's race. Saturday, we're going to have sprint shootout. You read that and you would think you're going to watch football, not Formula One. You get a 60-minute qualifying session that sets the grid for the sprint race. And then later on the Saturday, you'll have a sprint race, which is a massive 17 laps. And then on Sunday, you'll have the traditional Grand Prix. In this case, it's the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which is 51 laps. Now, onto the big plans for Liberty Media. I can't believe I'm reading this, but there you go. There are strong rumours that Formula One owners Liberty Media want to buy IndyCar with the aim to turn it into a feeder series for F1 to help promote more American drivers in the sport. Currently, Logan Sargent is F1's first American driver in almost 8 years, having secured a seat at Williams for the 2023 season. But there appears to be a huge push from the F1 owners to make more of the American market, and it looks as though they will be pushing to make a move on purchasing IndyCar anytime soon. I'm going to start with the sprint format because I'm baffled by this, and I do agree with Max. I completely agree with him that I think it's a lot for the drivers to put up with. Yes, Stefano Domenicali has already said that potentially the race calendar, throughout the season could reach 30 races. If you've got a sprint, and surely you're going to have to put this sprint format in every single race weekend. Otherwise, what's the point? It's not going to help if some fans get to watch it and other ones don't. I don't know. But like Max has said, pretty much what you're going to do over a sprint qualifying session and the massive 17 laps that they're going to race for is basically you're going to preserve your car, because as I understand it, the whole once you qualify, which is now on a Friday, if this sprint format stays in place for every weekend next year, maybe. So the cars are technically in parc ferme because that's what the rules say from the Friday, which it would normally be the Saturday. So basically, Sunday's sprint is going to be a procession, basically, and it's going to be more about preserving your car because you don't want to damage it and you don't want somebody else damaging that before the race on the Sunday. And I do think that's difficult because you've got to remember now that the teams and the mechanics are all under curfew conditions. So if they've got a car to fix before Sunday, it's for the sake of money, for the sake of giving fans at trackside a little bit more, they're potentially risking, a lot of things. But I don't know. All right, yeah, maybe 3 practice sessions are too much, but an hour of sprint qualifying or a shootout, it's just an overhyped word, I think, for a ridiculous format to stick in the middle of a race weekend. But yeah, maybe 3 practice sessions are a little bit too much. But I just can't see the teams coping with this. And what about this whole thing about reducing their carbon footprint? 30 races a year, extra races every weekend, potentially. It just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. But that's my little rant for that. And now on to Liberty Media and them planning to purchase IndyCar. I don't get this either. I don't understand it. You've already got an American series. Formula One has always been a European series. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it expanding into America and other places. But where's this going to end? Again with this, they're meeting their carbon footprint and targets and stuff like that. What are they going to do? Are they going to have a studio in Hollywood that they just change the scenery every weekend and have a race and change the track layout and just beam it to our TVs via satellite? And that way it's all done in one place. And this just doesn't make sense. We're already at risk of losing tracks that have been on the calendar since day one, because they just want to grow the sport. I mean, yes, Liberty Media is a business, I get that, but they're putting business before the sport, and that should never happen. And I just can't see this ending well for anybody who's watched Formula One for a long time, like I have. The whole thing is changing before our eyes, and I don't think it's changing for the better. This is greed, this is money, and they're going to. I understand that the whole point with Monaco being a pointless race with the cars the size they are now, I get that. But do we have to risk losing other well-known tracks because, one, they're going to be priced out of the market? They're not going to be able to compete with these big places like Las Vegas and the Middle East and stuff like that. That's basically what Formula One will become. It's just going to be however many races a year, some in the Middle East, some in America, and you'll be very, very pushed to find any, if just a few, in Europe anymore. And I think it's a sad day to see this coming. I really do. But that's my thoughts. That's my little rant. You might agree with me, you might not, but we're all entitled to an opinion. So yeah, feel free to give me yours. But if you do like what I do, please feel free to like and subscribe, share my video if you want, and also press the bell for notifications, because it's a good way of getting a fair warning that here I am again with more content. So thanks again. Thanks for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll speak to you again soon. Cheers.